My review with the 1983 Honda ATC 250R. It's the review over the Kustom Crafts 300 kit. Honestly, this thing made more power than I've ever had it make. But there are some variables to this. V-Force 3 reeds were added, a 36 millimeter carb, which also is overstock. DG pipe was on it, but I actually broke the lower end at a main on the line before the starting. But this thing ran faster, harder, better than it ever has. I can't 100% sure say the top end is the reason why. Obviously, the other two things on the intake side do help a lot. But I can say that as for the product that they made, which is the 300 top end big bore kit, I'm very satisfied with it. Like I said, yeah, I mean, it didn't miss a beat. It didn't have an issue. The lower end did. Originally, I thought that the top end had blown up when it did it, but it went through practice, heats, and another set of practices, and then I broke the lower on the starting line because in my own eyes, it took them 20 minutes to finally get us, before they finally said, all right, shut off your engines. Ends up we're going to do something else now and do this national anthem and everything. So for me, that I'm putting that one on the track officials more than anything. But to my knowledge, this bottom hasn't been opened up ever, which it could have been, maybe not, hard telling. I'll find out whenever I dig into it. But as for Kustom Crafts and their top end kit, I'm very satisfied. The thing would rev to the moon, runs hard. It's got power all the way through, more than stock does. But as I've also said before already, it did have V-Force reeds added to it, and it did have a 36 millimeter carb added to it. With that put on, I never ran this with the stock carb and Boyson reed setup that I normally would run on my 250 with, I think, on its second bore, I think, something like that. So that one wasn't very much over at all. But I'll say this thing ran harder, revved higher, revved to the moon, way better than my stock would ever rev to. All in all, I'm very satisfied with their product. I don't know, it was all around better. As much as I am a critic to most things that I buy, I didn't see an issue with this. I'll say the only issue that I had with them, well, other than it took them time to get my stuff to me. That's kind of to be expected, but the timeline I know took longer than I was told it would. The other thing is I wanted originally a 270 kit, and they had a good uh-oh in my opinion, because the good oopsie got me a 290 kit, so 300 basically, which is what they would call this is your 300 kit, because the 290 for the Honda line was also a 300. But yeah, anybody out there who has not seen my previous video explaining more in depth about these, the actual overview of them when I first got the product, go watch that, because people are thinking, well, my Honda line stuff will work with this product. It will not. I'm still hoping to get a YZ, well, I have the YZ 250 head I want to put on there, the longer fins to help it cool better. I'd have to get that sent out still and cut for a 300. But until I do that, this thing is not going anywhere. I still have to open up the lower and get back into there and fix whatever broke in there, because I don't know, because it didn't grenade the top end. I did take the head off, that's why there's no exhaust on it right now. But I'm very satisfied with their product. I know I've read a bunch of mixed reviews, and I'm happy to see that I am on the happier side of their reviews. From what the guy talking to me and everything that he knows, it seems like he has quite a bit of experience in machine work and everything else. And he seems to know his stuff, honestly, just by having a conversation with him. But I am a person who does not do machine work. I don't know a ton about machine work. There might be a person out there who's a machinist that talks to him and says he's an idiot. I don't know. For me, being an outsider looking into the machinist world, it seemed like he knew what he's talking about. I even called him afterwards and told him I was satisfied with his product, because I believe most people only call back after they get something when they're mad. So I always try to call people back, and I'm satisfied with their product, and this is one of the times that I definitely was. So if you're looking into one, I guess I'd recommend them. it's cheaper than buying a Honda Line 300. Plus, the parts availability afterwards are much better because this has a jet ski piston in it. He has a Woosner. I know you can also get a Wiseco with it as well, but since this is what the builder recommended, that is what I went with. But I do know that I can also get another piston if I need one slightly bigger. I know I kept my box that said the size and everything, so if I need something in the future, I can still get it. To me, that's a very large bonus for the rebuilding portion of it, because it's a two-stroke that I race. It's going to need rebuilt at some point in time. So I'm going to quit rambling, and that's that.